Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis, updated commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions as we go through it together. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where I dive deeper into all these topics, looking for potential investment opportunities and sharing those opportunities with everyone. We do have that special coupon code. It's not going to be active for very much longer. I'll probably deactivate it tomorrow. So you better get on it if you want to sign up with the coupon code special. 50% off the first month and a larger discount on the yearly membership. If you want to switch from a monthly to a yearly, it is open to do that. All right, so let's dive in. Let's take a look, starting with the DXY. I still think that this is gain, where we could be in a rising wedge. These are your pullbacks there, and then a potential rollover out of this rising wedge. Now, I don't know how long and far this thing's going to go. I would say we could easily do a retest down here, but I don't know if we'll break through that when we get there, or if we get there, if it were to pull back to the 106 region. But right now, it looks like that's in play, and we'll see if that occurs. Probably driven by maybe weaker yields, but we'll see if yields look like they're going to roll over or not. The 2-year yield, it's still in this wedge going up. It still looks okay. It doesn't look like it wants to roll over and sell off or anything like that. So if this does break to the upside, I doubt the dollar is going to break lower. We could break even higher, possibly. The 10 years already broken to the upside. We had a small little candlestick today, and that momentum still looks good to continue higher. There's no reversal candlestick, and the 30-year has the same exact setup. We've broken the bigger pattern to the upside, and everything still looks good. Continue higher. TYX TNX ratio, little bit of relief coming on up, which means the 10-year fell a little bit more than the 30-year today. It's not a huge move, 0.23%, and we're at low levels, and we've been at sustained low levels the entire time. So not an ultra tailwind behind precious metals, not yet. If the market were to slow down and yields were to basically uninvert and really start to move, I do think gold would get a nice little tailwind from that. Bond prices up slightly. Is it a reversal? Can't say that yet, guys. It's trying, but not technically a bullish piercing, but it's close. We could see. Momentum is still down. Momentum for sure is down. It's trying, but I don't know if it'll be successful here. We'll have to watch it the next few days. The 2 and 10 yield curve continues to uninvert, where the 10-year fell 0.35% and the or 0.13%, and the 2-year fell 0.35%. So a little bit of uninversion of the yield curve today. This does look like it's rolling over and definitely falling. Now, a lot of people are going to read this and say a recession is for surely in the bag here. It very well could be. Slow down the market very well could be. And we've got these two forces between money creation, inflation, which is it's coming from fiscal spending, ramming against a potential slowing economy. Some people say, yeah, they'll make comments like, yeah, I don't really see it slowing very much. Others are staring at this yield curve uninverting and making that conclusion. Gold up about $16 an ounce. I think this looks good. I think it looks good to continue on up out of this pattern whenever it decides to break. Everything still looks okay. We are starting to see bigger green candlesticks with the smaller red candlesticks, so that configuration I look for in candlesticks does look like it's changing in a positive manner. Silver up 0.3%. I chopped this top off there and just kind of ran a trend line through it. We'll see if we can continue higher. It looks good on the longer term. The longer term is a big break out of all this crap, a lot of resistance and stuff, and we've just been consolidating here, looking like it wants to try to break higher. Platinum up about $7 an ounce, and we're still squeezing in the monster pattern here. Monster patterns change lives, guys. So I've been buying platinum. I've been holding it for a while. I'm waiting for this thing to break out. Palladium up $5 an ounce. It's right above support. This looks like it wants to try to run higher as well for palladium because we're right above support. We've broken the falling wedge. GDX up 2.45%. Looks good. Looks real good. What this is a big up move, and then this was a flag pattern to move higher. It looks real good. GDXJ, same setup, and SILJ. Very similar setup, and this is still in the flag there. So I do think we could see a move higher here in the gold and silver mining companies. We saw that outperformance, XAU versus gold. We are coming from ludicrously low and cheap levels. What I would do is I'd be looking. I'd be on the prowl. I'd be on the prowl looking for potential companies that you guys like. I like the silver companies down here, and obviously I made some mentions about silver companies during my last midweek update on the website. If you guys want to know the ones I like, crude oil down 1.2%. We had a nice run here right into resistance, and we're at that resistance area right now. We got a little bit of selling pressure today. We tried to break out. It didn't happen. We came back within the pattern. There's the attempted breakout. And then we came back within the pattern here, and it still looks okay. We're right at resistance. We'll see if there's any follow through to the downside, if there is any. But I think we're going to try to break somewhere, probably over the next month or two, to the upside. We are coming into seasonality. Seasonality generally is pretty good from March into June. That's generally the strongest period for oil. So we could trade sideways for a little bit here at this resistance area. TTF gas down 5%. This is getting a little bit more selling pressure here. We could see further downside here in the short term. And then natural gas in America doing the exact opposite, up about 7% almost. And some people were wondering, some of the companies that we're in, they just continue to rip in the natural gas space that we were looking at down here and maybe even down there for some of our entries. And they're saying, well, why is it going up so much? This is acting like a meme stock in crypto. It just keeps going straight up. Well, guys, remember, natural gas companies make money when the price goes up. And if it stays up, the price of the equity will continue higher, even if this goes sideways at $3.70. Because if their break evens are in the twos down here, then you're going to get a rocket ship if this just trades sideways. Because they're adding a higher price on top of production, and you need it to stay there for them to make a sustained amount of free cash flow. Keep that in mind. Boy, XOP, yeah, you know me, up about 0.7%, even though crude oil is down. So we're seeing positioning in the oil equities irrespective. And I'm sure there's some natural gas equities in here pushing it higher too. But that still looks good, and we'll see if we can get back above all this resistance that's ahead of us. I think it's going to need oil to break out. OIH down about 1.3, 1.4%. And we got all these little candlesticks. I don't like seeing that. I like seeing the big green boys, show up like this and then getting small little red candlesticks and then big green boys come back. But it looks okay. It's not the best of looking chart for the fact that we broke this channel to the downside here. But we've been consolidating sideways, trying to figure out what we want to do. Newcastle coal futures continuing to head a little bit lower, and I do think we could hit maybe 103-ish. Let me get this guy out of here. So we could go back 105 or so back to a back test there. Definitely possible. Sprout Physical Uranium Trust up 1.23%. Looking like it's trying to find a bottom and turn here. That's a turning candlestick. We call it a hammer candlestick, where you grab the handle of it and you can hammer away. A lot of those times you start to see wicks at the bottom here that show up, and then wicks at the top when it turns over. So it's a wick at the bottom. We'll see if we can turn this thing around, and we're in a pattern, this big flag pattern that easily could break to the upside. So I would not be bearish on this at all. I would be bullish. The uranium futures pricing down a little bit, and we're back at this support region here. We'll extend it on out, and we're back on support. URA down slightly, down 1.35. Got that little candle at the bottom here, kind of doing almost like a retest there. We could see buying pressure come in. It's possible with that hammer candlestick. Uranium doing the same thing, the hammer, and URNJ doing the same thing. And usually what's bullish about this is you get these big buying pressure candlestick days. We hit resistance here. We roll back down and we're going to try again, I think, to work its way on up. So it looks good in a slightly bullish formation to try to work its way on up. Copper up 1.8%, looking real good. So we had this kind of false breakdown. We're seeing these false breakdowns. They get everyone on the wrong side of the boat, and then they turn in the other direction and fling everyone to the opposite side of the boat here. But this is what it looks like. It's a big bullish engulfing on the monthly there. On the weekly, since it's this week, it's looking pretty solid here. So we could work our way and break out of here. With today's trading action, it looks a lot better for a potential move higher here. I like the follow through. So that looks real good. COPX up 0.66%, not really following with copper as much, but I do think we could see this wake up as well if copper continues higher. There is a reversal candlestick here. Kind of a rough looking chart in this general circle there. Iron ore down slightly. There we are squeezing up in this corner here, and we're still squeezing. We've got aluminum still in the channel. Nothing's changed. We've got nickel up 0.84%. Is this a beginning move where we can maybe put together some strong candlesticks? I wouldn't go that far yet, but let's continue to monitor and see what happens. Mu slightly lower, down 0.55, and it's holding on within the pattern. Kind of a boring setup here. Really doing much, just chopping sideways. Emerging markets down slightly. We had a slightly stronger dollar. We need this dollar to turn, guys. If the dollar turns, we'll accelerate. If the dollar keeps going up, it's going to be downward pressure on emerging markets in general. KRE down slightly, but on support. We've got TAN down 3.55. I don't know, guys. TAN is, I don't think any of these companies are making any money, to be honest. It's all funds flow sloshing back and forth. Lithium down slightly, bullish engulfing here. It looks like we could still try to work our way on up. REMX, I think probably a similar setup. Hit some resistance, doing a little retest there. We'll try to work our way on up. Baltic Dry Index, we've broken out of the falling wedge, and I would expect this to go sideways or higher over time. We've got XHB up 1.14%. It's holding on with dear life here. That is a bullish candlestick. It's a bullish piercing where we could head higher. But we did fall out of this rising wedge to the downside, which is obviously not a great thing. Usually a bearish formation. Russell 2000 down about 0.5%, right in this channel. S&P 500 up 0.16. This still looks bearish to me because of how we entered this. Basically, we're kind of squeezing up here, but we entered kind of falling down. We could pop out of that to the downside. I'll leave that there. NASDAQ trading sideways. SMCI down 5%. It's still on top of a bullish formation though, so that still actually looks good to go higher. NVIDIA down slightly, but still above support. It's holding on. Is it a inverted bloody nose where we break lower? Don't go that far yet because we need to break through this support. And we did get support there. That's why we have a wick at the bottom. Bitcoin down 2.8. I'll extend that support line out. We're still above support. Ethereum down 3, and we're still at support. We're still there. And then MSTR down 2.85, but this is still a bullish formation here. We've got larger buying pressure, smaller selling pressure there. Those generally work their way on up. And then the VIX, it was up this morning, but it got tampered back down, and it's holding sideways at this time. That's what I've got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. Special is the coupon code if you'd like that. Today will be the last day. I will inactivate it at some point tomorrow. So if you want to roll the dice and try to get it tomorrow, that's up to you. But it'll definitely work all day today and maybe partway in tomorrow. We'll see. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.